Well, when you come off a win that ends a losing streak, how do you make sure the guys don't get complacent and dwell too much on one win with a lot still to play?
Well, you have to trust the players. I mean, they got a job to do, and as we've said, hey, one loss isn't the season, one win isn't the season. We're going to Nebraska. Let's be ready to go.
You mentioned in your radio show you felt at first practice maybe some guys felt that they had done something big by that win. How have you addressed that or worked to keep that mentality in the right track?
Well, we've only had one, today, so we'll see how we are today. But you can't be comfortable in this position, and I think that we know that when we're a team that has to work extremely hard, and that's what we're going to do, and there's going to be no other way to do it.
Between the Wisconsin and Michigan State games, some of the guys were saying that one of the drills you guys put in practice to sort of stress toughness and competitiveness was just like a rebounding drill where there was no rules, basically. They said like there were 3 or 4 guys in the paint and you threw the ball up and go get it, and how you get it doesn't really matter. I didn't know like if that is the right way to describe it, one, or two, if that's something like you keep as a staple of practice now to keep harping on that toughness aspect.
I'm not sure what they're talking about. To be honest with you, I don't know. But I mean, we always practice the rebounding, and we obviously had to change things up a little bit just in terms of probably weren't going to get the ball as strong as we needed to, as aggressive as we needed to, and so yeah, we've got a lot of different things that we do at certain times, and just trying to stress the importance of what the difference could be in winning or losing a game.
Nebraska, what do you see? I mean, they had the 2 huge wins to start the Big Ten. Obviously, a lot of people didn't see that coming. When you look at them,
Yeah.
what stands out about it?
Well, I think that their guard play is. I mean, you get 2 guys averaging 20 plus a game, and they do a great job. 5 is shooting, I think 56% from 3 in Big Ten play, and Webster obviously has been there a long time. I still think he hit his first 3 of his career in the left corner against us in here, and now here he is, getting 20 plus a game. But they're a very physical team. They're a very physical offensive team. They're very physical defensively, and we're going to see every imaginable type of ball screen on the defensive end of the floor, and those 2 guys are a majority of what they're doing now. As you focus in, you try to stop them. You've got to do the other job on the other 7 guys that are playing as well, and they, a lot like Sunday's game, they rebound the ball really, really well. So, they're obviously playing. You look at all the games they've played this year; they've been right there. So, and you know how it is going out there. I mean, it's one of the best environments in college basketball out there.
Road game too. I mean, you obviously got it done Michigan State at home, but the last couple of road games, and you're unfortunately having to deal with a lot of them here in a hurry at the start of the Big Ten season. Coming off of the last Wisconsin game, what's the message, I guess, to play with that toughness, that you showed here on
Right.
Sunday, to try to take that on the road?
Yeah, it's kind of to Adam's first question. I mean, got to play. You got to do it, and I think the fact that I've got this little dog, cute thing. It's the dumbest dog I've ever seen. But when it sees my suitcase, it like flips out, and I mean the poor dog has just been in disarray here the last couple of weeks, because it seems like every day I'm getting that suitcase out, getting ready to go, and but hopefully we're learning from game to game to game, being on the road, what it takes, and as I told our guys, you got to go, you got to play, and is Sunday, did we play perfect? No, not even close to perfect. And I think that was one of the biggest things we tried to hammer home yesterday in film, was just hey, we still got areas that we can get better at, but there has to be a level, a staple of the activity that we had in terms of our defense.
Piggybacking on those questions about keeping this momentum going, how big of a challenge is that for you as a coach, to then get the players and keep the level, I guess, at where it was Sunday, just kind of from your perspective, not necessarily from the game perspective, how do you have to handle that coaching?
I don't know. I mean, I hope that our guys are man enough, tough enough to say, hey, we've had some bumps in the road, and smart enough to say this is how you fix them, and we go out and play. I mean, when you're playing these quick turnarounds, as I told our guys, we've got to get some staples in our program in terms of what we're going to do, because preparation becomes key. I mean, we got to change some things, and we don't have a ton of time with travel and everything to practice it. But we got to be active. We got to know where we're helping, where we're not helping, and those are things we've been doing all year. Just go do them.
You said after the Michigan State game that you were happy to see CJ put down a three, and it was a huge shot. But he shot, I think it was 45% in JUCO last year, and it just, obviously the percentage is down. Is there anything you're seeing from him, mechanics-wise, anything, why that
No.
ball's not going in for him?
No, and gosh, we've checked, and to his credit, he just keeps working and repetition, and that's why I have faith that they're going to go in, and good things happen to good people, and like I said, I was jacked to see that one go in the other day.
You mentioned on your radio show as well that you were impressed with Mark taking 2
I was
charges in
only
that
on
game.
there for like 3 minutes.
You talk fast.
Okay.
But I
Yeah, I cling to every word.
that's what they pay me for. But that he took some charges in that game, and he talked afterward about that's got to be the level. That's where these guys have to be every game, and they have to understand that. You talked a couple weeks ago about being happy with the direction Mark was sort of taking this team. Has he stayed at that where he was then when he talked about that? Has he been like that since then, or was this maybe a step back in the right direction?
No, I think he had. There's been some things that have happened with Mark. I mean, he had a couple games where he's turned the ball over, but the travels in the game the other day, he drug it, but so did they, but they didn't call it. It's like those things are going to happen. I like what Mark's doing. I like the emotion that he's playing with. I love the just his demeanor in practice, and what he's. I think the light's on. I've said that a long time ago, and he wants to play well, and he's given us everything he's got.
Did you guys have any talks about that? Have you had any sit-downs with him recently just to say, look, I need you to keep bringing this, or has it just been...
No, I mean, you talk to guys every day. We do sit down, but, a lot of times it's just grabbing a guy before practice and saying, hey, this is what I need, and this is what you're doing well. And so, I've been patting him on the rear end and telling him to keep going.
You mentioned after Sunday's game, and we've seen it in the past with Jaquan, sometimes he gets those open looks but just doesn't take them for whatever reason. Have you seen in practice, does he not have that hesitation in practice, and maybe do you expect on Wednesday when he gets those looks he'll take them? Or is it just a mystery?
It is a mystery. Jaquan can be a mystery at times. I don't know. Sometimes he does in practice. Sometimes I have to tell him to stop shooting. Other times we're like, why won't you shoot that? Here's the biggest thing I think from his performance on Sunday. He had great rhythm to his shot. His feet were set. He had great push, and they were really, really good shots. And as long as he's taking those, I'm perfectly fine with it. In fact, would I like for him to take a few more on the wide open ones that we all say why not? But if he's not feeling it, don't shoot it. But he had the one where he had it in the corner, didn't shoot it, drove, sort of lost it, jumped up and threw it back to Micah. Had a wide open look off of that in and out. But hopefully he's got a little more confidence in his three-point shot.
After the game, Coach Izzo was kind of singing the blues that CJ hadn't been shooting a high percentage, Jay Sean hadn't been shooting a high percentage. They both made shots, and Jaquan made a couple of big plays there,
Right.
about 7-8 minutes to go in the game. Just to flip that around to your viewpoint, are these things you've been waiting on to happen and glad to see it and going to need it going forward?
Yeah, I was so excited to see it, and for CJ, just looking at this, I made 101 threes last year at a high level of play that he was playing against, and 45%. So we know he can shoot. I've seen him shoot in practice, seen him get on a roll in practice. We saw it in the Virginia game. Jay Sean's good for one. And he's working so hard at it that you love to see that, go down. And, for Jaquan, I mean, I think now he's 9 for 17 in Big Ten play, but we do need that, Steve. Those guys have got, I mean, as you guys know, you watch Big Ten basketball, open shots are hard to come by. And when you get them, it's really, really good if you knock them down.
Nebraska, just their guards, it seems like they have great ball movement. They shoot the ball well at times, and then they can also take the ball to the basket. It seems
Yeah.
they have good drivers as well. Just what is the challenge like, and who's going to be stepping up to play those guys?
I tell you what, we're going to need everybody on the floor to defend, because everything that you just said is right on point. They're shifty, they're crafty, and I mean they're going full speed to the basket, and there's usually collisions down there, and they've done a good job of finishing. But those two guys, well, I mean, I think Nebraska right now is playing at a very high level, and those two are obviously the main guys for their team statistically.